Good morning. Today, you already heard a lot about different options for the citizenship by investment. However, here I'm to present Maltese option of the citizenship or residency by investment. So many people would wonder where Malta is. Obviously, because Malta is a small island close by to Sicily that even if you put a Google drop on it, it will cover it completely. It's just 316 square kilometers with the population a little bit over than 430,000. Malta is also well known for some people as a place which attracts Hollywood cinematographers. We have different movies which were filmed in Malta, such as TV serial Game of Thrones, some blockbusters like World War Z and By the Sea, Troy, and others. However, apart of all this, Malta is also part of 26 European countries who are party to Schengen agreement, meaning that once you get Maltese residency, you will be allowed to travel visa-free within Schengen countries. Furthermore, in 2004, Malta became a part of European Union, which also means that once you get Maltese citizenship, you become also a European citizen. So this is how a quick look on the current members of Schengen agreement and Schengen area. As you can see, not only EU member states are members, some countries like Switzerland, Liechtenstein, Norway, or Ireland who are not EU countries also are party to this agreement, meaning that with Maltese residency, you will be able to travel visa-free to these countries. As was well mentioned, Brexit now is everywhere, and Malta was a colony of English Empire at that time for more than 100 years. And we have a very, very close ties with UK, and I think more than 50 bilateral agreements in place. So what will happen when UK will leave European Union? For Malta, basically nothing will change because we have several agreements in social sphere, healthcare, education, etc. Complementary to Maltese membership in European Union is Maltese membership in Commonwealth country, which gives it a bigger exposure to the world. So, but here we are talking not about only Malta and how great is it, it's about some economic citizenship. So what is this? Why people would like to get it? Why they will opt for Malta? I will try to explain it in more details in my next slides. So the first program which I would like to talk to you, it's a Maltese Citizenship by Investment program. Basically, the benefits European citizenship by investment in Malta within just 12 months. The benefits of these programs is that the approval will be given within 4 months after submission of the application. The fast-track Schengen residency, what does it mean? The person who decides to apply for Maltese passport first will receive a Maltese residency card and will be able to enjoy free travel within Schengen countries for the whole period of due diligence. Then it's European approved program. Basically, Maltese citizenship by investment is probably the first program which been approved by European Union. And the reason why is that it requires not only investment, but also to show a connection to Malta. Then, once you become a citizen, the person will have a visa-free access to to 168 countries, which are including US, because Malta has a visa waiver system with US, also UK and Canada. Furthermore, there would be free public healthcare and education, which is quite a high standard because we inherited our educational and health care system from UK. And obviously that the passport and citizenship could be passed through generations. So if you today acquire your citizenship by investment, your children and the children of your children will become Maltese automatically. So what is the eligibility criteria? So the white family eligibility and almost all nationalities are accepted. Then once your application is approved, there would be requirement some investments such as contribution of 650,000 plus. I will explain it a little bit in more details. Investment in bonds, which should be kept for 5 years, purchase or rent of the property, and to show the genuine connection with Malta. It will lead you to your Maltese passport. So, who can be the main applicant? Main applicant can be a person who is over 18 years old, and they can add their spousal life partner. So if you can prove that you are in long-standing relationships, the person will be accepted as your life partner. The children, which are below 18, the adult and married children until 26 years of age, who are financially dependent on the main applicant. Then there is parents and grandparents who are older than 55 and financially dependent on the main applicant. With respect to the nationalities, the law restricts only in relation to nationals from Afghanistan, North Korea, and Iran. However, as you can see, the world is changing dramatically. The recent travel bans, which were implemented by US president, affected programs slightly as well. So for the time being, I think 6 or 7 countries which Trump banned from US currently cannot apply for the citizenship by investment in Malta. With respect to the contribution, the unrefundable contribution of 650,000 plus will be paid to National Social and Development Fund in Malta, which aim to improve health infrastructure, housing, education. This payment of 650,000 plus will need to be executed only when due diligence is finalized and when applicant is sure that the passport is only subject to investment conditions. So for the spouse and the young children, it would be 25 additional thousand for each, and unmarried children plus grandparents or parents would be 50,000 on top of 650. The due diligence fees are also applied. It's all depend on the family composition, that once citizenship application is submitted to the authorities, they will raise an invoice for the due diligence fees. So this is the only big payment which should be made before application is approved. With respect to the property, the requirement in the law is that person can either buy property for minimum 350,000 or rent a property for minimum 16,000 a year. So the property also should be purchased after application is approved, so there is no financial risk, and it should be kept for 5 years. Basically, the letting or subletting is not allowed. So some of our clients are choosing to rent property in the beginning. However, Maltese property market is currently booming, so each property is actually increasing in price year by year. Some of our clients choosing to purchase it as an investment for 5 years and then just sell it on the profit. So with respect to the government bonds, so additionally, the applicant, after the approval, needs to invest 150,000 into the government bonds. This bond should be approved. Obviously, we usually guide our clients through. Recently, there were amendments in the law, which we didn't manage to include in the presentation, but not only government-issued bonds now are applicable, also the securities which are listed on the Maltese Stock Exchange could be purchased as a part of the fulfillment of this program requirement. The bonds should be also kept for 5 years and need to be purchased, as I said, after the approval. So the residency status, this is the main connection, like main requirement which European Union used to approve this program. What does it mean? That you cannot do only investment, as like in some Caribbean countries, which are like an easy way out. You also need to show that you connected to the country, that you like becoming a citizen with the purpose. So first, your connection, it would be your Schengen residency card, which will be issued for 18 months. And basically then, the idea was that the person will actually spend in Malta some time, as more is better. However, the government department as well and understands that no one in right mind will leave the business, leave children, family, and move completely to Malta for 1 year when the due diligence is going on. So for this purpose, we together with the authorities will develop the compensation of lack of presence. So the person will still need to spend within 12 months a minimum number of days, like from 15 to 20. Then the absence can be fulfilled by joining some social clubs or memberships, which we assist client all the way through, probably some philanthropic donations to the approved government charities, perhaps setting up the business or getting the property, which you will need to have anyway, because it's a part of the program requirements. So this is how look processing a timeline. So the residency card will be issued within 1 to 3 weeks from the submission of the application. Then our legal team will be working on the preparation of the citizenship application. Usually we aim to submit it within 2 to 3 weeks to the authorities. As soon as the application is submitted, the due diligence invoice is raised and the actual due diligence started. It takes approximately 4 months for authorities to decide whether the application is going to be approved or not. As soon as this application is approved, the investment requirements should be fulfilled, and the applicant will have 4 months to do so. And altogether, within 1 year, will lead a person to obtaining Maltese citizenship. This is how the cash flow plan look like, so it's better so you can understand better when the most investment requirements are kicks in after the approval, which makes program very, very safe in terms of financing. So some of the fees would need to be paid upon issuance of the residency card, some due diligence fees upon submission, but all main investments should be done only after the approval. So we have a wide range of clients, some of them, of course, coming now from Russia and CIS countries. However, we feel the interest from Middle East, from Asian countries, some from Africa. We also have clients from US and Canada. Most of them are doing it for tax purposes, of course. And we even have some European clients, like from France, who also would like to obtain Maltese citizenship due to tax benefits. So program has a quota. It's 1,800 families, which are now approximately only 400 families left. This year, budget speech announced that the second version of the program will start once this current version is finished. We do not expect many changes. However, the government currently working on improvement of the program. It's very important to note in respect to the tax treatment of the new citizen. Malta adopted the tax system from the UK. So even though our laws look like continental, however, our tax law is proper common law, meaning Malta do not tax a person according to the citizenship. The main criteria is whether person domicile or resident in Malta. The new citizens who get passport through this program will never be the domiciles, because you would need to show the center of your life interest. And we haven't had the case when somebody managed to do so, because it required a lot of amount of time and effort. And some of them opt to be only as a resident. Why? Because when you're resident, not domicile, your worldwide income is not taxed in Malta. So everything what is left outside Malta will never be taxed by Maltese authorities. Only the income which is remitted to Malta in any point will be taxed. However, with the clever tax planning, we can ensure that all income remitted to Malta will be tax-free. So this is a short summary of the program. So once you get the property, you pay the contribution, purchase the bonds, all your family within 12 months will receive a Maltese passport. If you are not confident with the passport program, there is always a residency option, because some jurisdictions, as we may know, not allow to get a double citizenship. So Maltese Residency program was introduced in 2015. It calls Maltese visa and residency program, which we call Maltese Golden Visa. Basically, it's a European Schengen permanent residency in Malta for life for all the family within just 3 months. So the benefits of the program is that you get the permanent residency within only 3 months from the submission of the application. You will receive the certificate for life and the residency card for 5 years. It will allow you to travel visa-free within Schengen countries. It will not have any effect on your tax status unless you decided to become a tax resident in Malta, and your family members can be included. The most important is that before or after receiving your residency card, there is no minimum presence is required. So eligibility criteria for this program is very similar to citizenship one. So non-EU families who are self-sufficient can apply. There would be contribution of 30,000 and 5,000 additionally for each adult dependent. This would be residency or purchase of the property for 5 years, however, with the lower price, and the investment in government bonds for 5 years of 250,000. Basically the same. It's important to note that non-EU nationals, only non-EU nationals can apply for this program. If you compare it to Maltese citizenship, for Maltese citizenship, basically anyone can apply. So who can be included? Obviously, the main applicant, spouse or partner in the durable and stable relationship, minor children, unmarried dependent children, and there is no certain age, as long as the child is financially dependent, even if this child is already 35, can be included to the program. So the seriously ill or disabled children, parents and grandparents of the main applicant who is financially dependent on him. The purchase of the apartment is a little bit different, as well as a rent. Here we have zones, because depending on the zone, the price will be different. For example, Gozo and south of Malta, it would be 270,000, and the same time as the rest of Malta is 320,000. The reason why? Because they would government try to attract investors and develop maybe not as popular regions of Malta. The property should be kept for 5 years, and only beneficiaries and their dependents will allow to use this property. So not letting or subletting is allowed. So what the tax regime for this program? Basically, again, it's would be resident non-domicile regime, so source and remittance basis of taxation. It means that there won't be worldwide tax at all. However, if the income remitted to Malta, it will be taxed on the progressive rate. Also, once you become the resident in Malta, you are eligible to apply for the tax residency, and you can use it for some double taxation treaties, which Malta has a wide network, and get use of it for your own purposes or for your business. So this is how the timeline look like. So basically, within 2 to 3 weeks from the engagement, we're trying to file the application to the authorities. Then you pay 5,500 of the initial fees, which are counted as due diligence fees, and deducted from the main contribution. Within 3 months, authority approved the application, and then it's again up to you to fulfill your financing obligations in order to receive the Maltese residency card. As you can see, this program is also quite safe because there is no major financial obligation until application is approved. So this is how the cash flow plan look like. So only 5,500 in initial stage upon submission, and the rest of investment should be done only after application is approved. So this is a short summary. As you can see, that within 3 months, with the investment in bonds and some contribution, the person will receive a certificate of permanent residence for life and will be able to travel to Schengen countries visa-free. Very important to note, it's to speak about tax, because it was said previously, current developments in the tax law within European Union, implementation of new tax directive, CRS, and others one should think about tax planning before moving to one or another jurisdictions. As I said, from the personal level of taxation, it's very simple because Malta will only tax you worldwide if you're domicile and a resident, which is most of the cases, and only people who born in Malta, lived in Malta their whole life. In this case, they become domicile and resident. For the rest of the world, it's much easier. They won't be taxed worldwide because they won't become domicile in Malta. It only will be either resident or not. So with the effective tax planning, you can drop your tax rate in Malta to 0. So with respect to the tax benefits, we inherited our tax system from the UK, but Malta moved a little bit further, and this is how our managing partner calls it happy slide, taxes which Malta does not have. So there is no withholding taxes on dividends, interest, or royalties. There is no entry or exit taxes, no exchange controls, no capitalization rules, no capital or wealth taxes, no dividend taxes, no transfer pricing taxes, no control foreign company rules. To show you a better example, I prepared for you a couple of slides with several structures in Malta in respect to the holding and operation company. So if the holding company is located in Malta and receive a dividend from the subsidiary of 100K, and there won't be no entry taxes, the dividend then can move up to the shareholder company in a different jurisdiction, again with no zero taxes. So basically, as you can see, there is no taxes on dividends from the subsidiaries in Malta, no taxes on capital gains or sale of shares in subsidiaries, no withholding taxes on distributed dividends, and completely 0% tax flow through on dividends. With respect to the trading structures, it's a little bit different, but also interesting that operating company which is incorporated in Malta and receiving income of, let's say, 100K would pay taxes at the flat rate of 35%, because Maltese corporate rate is quite high to be able to comply with European jurisdiction and not to be considered as an offshore country. So 35% is a very high rate of tax company pays to the government. However, in our law, there is a mechanism of tax refund to the shareholder. So in this case, once company pays 35% of tax, shareholder can file the declaration to the authorities and get refund of 30%. In this case, it's lower the actual tax rate to 5%. So just to explain it one time more, the company pays 35% tax to the tax authorities and shareholder receives 30% back. In this case, the total income would be 95K. So yes, so there is a high corporate tax rate of 35%. However, the refund of the shareholders could be up to 30%. It's compliant with the EU legislation, so it doesn't make Malta an offshore country, and you can benefit easily from EU trade agreements, even implementing this system. So trading structures to which this refund applies could be from financial regulated services like fund management, fund admin, bank, financial, some investment services. It could be gaming, which we see a lot now, gaming companies establishing themselves in Malta. It could be unregulated business such as trading, consulting, etc. And here I want to show you another type of structure when the shareholder is a holding company and the main shareholder is a person. So in this case, two companies are incorporated in Malta. Operational company receives the income of 100K, pays tax to the government department. The holding company, which is also incorporated in Malta, is eligible to file a request of tax refund and receive within 14 to 21 days a 30% back. And in this case, the dividends which will be sent to shareholder will be full 95K. So in this structures shows that Maltese tax system developed different mechanisms in order to attract corporate structures establish themselves in Malta. So we are, as a Chetcuti Cauchi advocate, so we are a law firm which based not only in Malta, but also in Cyprus. We actually not just advisors, we are lawyers, so we take everything from the legal perspective. We are tax advisors because we understand that in nowadays world, it's very important to think about your tax planning before you move to any of the new jurisdictions. We also business advisors in Malta, Cyprus, and Hong Kong, London, or Zurich, where we have our offices. We license trustees and fiduciaries in Malta, and we also guide our clients with real estate. We help them to search for the property, and we do the legal expertise as well. So thank you very much for your attention. If you have any questions, we have booth number 1 and would be happy to reply.